Hello and welcome to the Hive Thrive Hour number 22. Our guest today is Stoodkev of the Hive Keychain. And if you haven't used the Hive
Hey guys.
Keychain, you probably haven't been around Hive very long. Hi Stoodkev, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm not too bad. And for the recording, I'm Shadows Pub, your co-host, along with Menno, who is filling in for Buttcoins for the month of August and part of September. How are you today, Menno?
I'm doing pretty good myself. Happy to be here. Happy to have this conversation with Stoodkev. I have a lot of questions.
I I
Shoot.
suspect a lot of people have a lot of questions. But Studkev, I see you joined the
Yep.
chain around 2017, August of 2017, so right around this
Yep.
time of the year, 8 years ago. What brought
Yep.
you into Hive? How did you find it? Well, it was the legacy chain then.
Oh, yeah. Well, at the time I had my first startup. It did okay for a while, but I was at the point where I was like, okay, it's not turning that well on the long run. I was actually starting to be a little bit burnout, and I was just looking around, and I was interested in blockchain stuff. But from a bit far away at the time. So I was starting to look into it a little bit more. And I found this website with a dollar sign on the bottom, and I got quite curious about it. And then it took me a while to actually get my account. That was very difficult at the time. And then I started looking into it a little bit more and started blogging and then seeing something that I would have liked to improve on the UI and stuff. And yeah, that's how I got hooked at the beginning.
You know,
So yeah,
that sounds kind of familiar because I came in about a year earlier, and it was the dollar signs on the posts that caught my attention too.
yeah,
Funny how that
yeah. I
does
think I
that.
mean that's how they say. Like I think a lot of us came for the money and stayed for the community. And like in the end, we just love being here.
I think you're very
Um,
right on that.
that's yeah.
What was your startup?
So originally I was studying aerospace engineering, so it's pretty far from that. And we participated in a contest to use GNSS technologies, which is everything like GPS, but GPS is American, so GNSS like the generic term. And we started doing a startup where you could have an estimation of your waiting time when going to the doctor for appointments, and find some stuff you can do in the meantime. So, for example, we were already based in Taiwan at the time, so you have a lot of convenience stores, tea shops, stuff like this. Um, so while we were still in the startup ecosystem, like a lot of people were pushing us, we're being like, "Hey, it's a great idea" and stuff. But actually, we started in Taiwan, and Taiwanese love to stay in the line. So it was we were trying to fix a problem that didn't really exist. So yeah,
Oh no, that's kind of backward. We're supposed to have the problem and then do the solution. You created the
yeah,
startup and then wanted to create the problem. That doesn't
yeah.
work
No,
so well,
it's
does it?
like no, it's because it started more like as a contest.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun idea, and then we had so many people telling us, "Oh, it's a great idea! Like, keep working on that and stuff." And we had a lot of help and some investments and stuff. But after a while, we're like, "Okay, it's probably can be a good idea, but somewhere else." And at the time, I didn't really want to move either, so just yeah,
So then the legacy chain came along and you went, "Oh, this looks cool. Let's explore."
yeah,
That sounds
yeah,
about it.
yeah. At the beginning, it was. Yeah, I couldn't imagine that I would still be here like that long after that, and that would be my full-time job, right? So, but yeah, it turned out pretty well. I think just a few months after I got on the legacy chain, I started Steam Plus. I don't know if some of you guys remember that.
Yep.
So that yeah, that was my first extension because at the time. I mean, there was only one dApp, right? And it kind of sucked. So we're trying to change the UI a little bit to have more features and improve the existing ones and stuff. Like just for reference, at the time, there was no way whatsoever to make a delegation or stuff like this.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
so we
those
just
days.
added a button on the UI. Yeah, like
And what
delegation, witnesses, stuff like this. Like it was so basic. Yeah.
and then when the delegation did come out, it was such an involved process that you just kind of went, "Do I really want to delegate?" It's got a lot
Yeah.
easier. I think a lot of people don't
Mm,
realize just how much the chain has changed.
yeah. No, but the weird thing that like there were so many of these features that were already implemented at the chain level, but there was no UI like on the Steemit website. You couldn't do it. You couldn't do any of that.
I think
Um,
I kind of think the Steam devs just assumed that the only people who were going to join the chain were either devs or techie people, and why would you do a social
yeah.
media chain for like normal people?
Mm,
So they didn't
yeah.
bother doing any user interface. Where did your username come from?
Oh, actually, it's kind of a private joke with some friends. Um, just the way I say tout means that's all in French. I kind of eat it, so I used to really say it like stew. And and Kev actually is not my name. My name is Quentin, but everybody assumes my name is Kev. It was just a drunk friend that kept saying, "Oh, you're a friend of Kev. You're a friend of Kev." And I don't know why with friends it just we just kept using that and say every time we see each other we talk about that. So it just stuck with us. It'll be hard to explain, but yeah. Actually,
Sounds
it's really funny because one of these friends I haven't seen for 12 years, and I saw him yesterday, and he just called me that, and I was like, now that's my name on the for my work. That's my yeah,
so it sounds like people pick up on the Kev part like they do with the pub on my
yeah,
mine. They
yeah.
assume pub means a
Like
place to go drink, which it does, but that's not the pub part of my name. It's actually short for publishing.
okay. Yeah, I would have assumed the other one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
fun fact, every year when I go to the Hive Fest, Roland introduced me as Kevin, and I keep telling him it's not my name, but he doesn't seem to mind, so I don't mind either. Like you guys can call me Kevin if you want.
so Menno, just for the record, and it's not a constant record, but I don't drink vodka, but I will drink rye or scotch if it's good scotch. So there you go. So what gave you the idea to start the keychain?
Okay, to be honest, is not 100% my idea. Because at that time I was working a lot on Steam Plus. Actually, thanks to Utopian at the time, if you guys remember that, like that was pretty huge, and that allowed us to make a lot of development
Mm-hmm.
and be funded for it. And at the time, I've been approached by the Splinterlands team actually to work on that. And then we did some brainstorming together to see which form it could take. And actually, the initial work was funded by Splinterlands. So that was before the DHF.
So the,
So
the
that was the
keychain wasn't necessarily a idea that you came up with that came out of brainstorming,
yeah. So I was approached by Matt, yeah, but Matt,
right?
and yeah, and then we discussed about how we could have something that would work like MetaMask on Hive, and yeah, and we designed how it could work for an initial version, and I think the first version we spin it up like very fast, like it was maybe within a month or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we did a fast prototype, and rapidly we saw that this would be something we can that would be really useful for the blockchain, and yeah,
Well,
been
I
working on it ever since.
I'd
Yeah.
call it really useful. I would consider my arm cut off on Hive if Keychain went away. To me, it's just
Yeah, I mean,
basic. You got
yeah.
to have a Keychain.
Mm,
So one couple
yeah.
more couple more questions, and then I'm going to turn you over to Menno because I know he's got a list and
Yeah.
he's just itching to ask. What do you like
Okay.
best on the Hive blockchain?
Um, as a dev, and actually that would be kind of the same answer as a dev, and also as a user, and just part of the
Sure,
community. Well, that's my answer actually. Is the community. As a user, I think everyone knows why, but as a dev, it's also great to get like very fast feedback. And when we do some kind of feature, like some features, sometime like we go with what we think is best, but sometimes we get some more feedback and we change direction, and it's fine. And because it's community based, people are also okay with knowing that we not be maybe perfect the first time, and it's very useful. Yeah, it's very useful because we need this feedback and we get it.
absolutely.
So yeah.
And it seems to show up in your user interface because your user interface is a lot friendlier than a lot of them are. So you take the feedback to
Yeah,
heart.
but yeah, yeah, and it's iterations by iterations because like um a couple weeks ago we were looking at some old posts. I don't know what we were looking in there, but anyways, then we saw the previous versions of Keychain, and we were like, "Oh wow, we came a long way." Yeah,
That's the way to learn, figure out how far you've come. And what do you like
yeah.
least on the Hive blockchain?
Dramas. So when there's some, I just keep very far, and yeah, I just don't want to to participate in that. But yeah,
That's understandable. So I'm going to
yeah.
turn you over to Menno, and I will mention to those that are listening in the audience if you have a question while Stoodkev is talking, or Stoodkev and Menno, just put your question into the text chat, and I will pick it up and try to insert it as soon as I can. So Menno, he's all yours.
All right, dude. I mean,
Uh,
don't worry, bro. I'm not gonna grill you. I'm probably just gonna call you Kev sometimes. I hope you don't mind.
no, it's fine. I'm used to it.
Yeah, cool, cool. But I do have. See, I'm gonna tell you a little story and why I want to talk about this for a second. I think a lot of people that are building for Hive are
Hmm.
very much focused on trying to make apps that are secure, and
Hmm.
a challenge and a half. So most of the time when people are making apps, they will default to Keychain. You go like, oh no, I'm not gonna worry about that. I am just
Mm.
gonna let Keychain handle it. And then I've done it, and actually Mengawa's here, so Mengawa and I have had conversations about this stuff too. So let me. So here's the question for you:
Yeah.
where or when is an app safe enough? What is the balance between usability, not being so much friction to use the app, and
Hmm.
security? When it's like, well, too much security now, it's just a pain in the butt to use it. Nobody wants to use it. Where do you draw the line?
Well, for me, security has to come before usability for sure. I mean, especially for what we're doing when it comes to the keys, um, and then trying to do our best to make the usability as high as possible too. Um, I think for like dApps on desktop is not too much of a problem because it's very easy to just plug into Keychain and make the requests and stuff. I've seen some devs asking more questions from mobile because just because of the ways the OS work is not really easy. So whether you use Hive URI or Hive OS to connect with Keychain from your own app, um, The thing is that on Android, after a while, it will freeze the background. On iOS, the background is always frozen, so it means always need to switch between the app and come back. And so I think that's the case where you really need to think about both scenarios. So either you really use Keychain and you never ask for any keys or whatsoever in your app. And I can see that the UX is not great, but there's nothing we can do to make it better. That's sad, but that's a fact. Or I have seen some devs saying, okay, but if it's like this, then we will ask directly for the keys. I think in the end, it's up to the user to accept doing this or not. As a user myself, I I'd rather have a UX that's a bit more difficult to handle than putting my keys at risk by copy pasting my keys in different places. But I guess in the end, it's up to the user um, to really decide where they stand. I think also depends on which authority is involved. If it's posting key, usually there's um, it can be fine, although it's still not recommended. But with active key, I would definitely not put my active key anywhere. So yeah, on desktop, I don't really see too many scenario where you will need to sacrifice on the UX to improve on security. If you have an example, though.
No, I agree with that exactly. This is you kind
Yeah,
of just preempted where I was going. I think on desktop it works beautifully. I've built a few little tools for myself, and I would love to for Mingao to put some stuff in the chat too, some questions. I'm sure he's gonna have some good ones too, some things we can discuss. But it's mostly the mobile experience because
yeah,
here's where it gets a little complicated for most people.
yeah,
Um, it's the idea that you have to switch back and forth between apps. It's not great, but uh, well, how do you say that name? Cagolistic. Your microphone is on, bro. You gotta mute your microphone, please.
It's
But
done.
uh, you got it. Awesome. But more than that, I think is the reality that we have to at some point in time, and I this is like almost like I'm singing the same song every single day, and I have to apologize. We have to make things even easier than they are. Uh, we have like the Hivian bias, right? Like we talk about this stuff and go like, oh yeah, keys, you're posting key, you got a key, you got a memo key. Oh, make sure you use this key for that. Open your key, don't share that one. That one you can change the passwords. Doesn't master key just generates all the keys. That is crazy
mm,
information for somebody who's brand new.
yeah,
I love the fact that Keychain makes that like I don't have to set it and forget it. So
yeah,
if we can get that easiness, how do you say that word, of use into the mobile world,
yeah,
boom. Like then that is how we can get that one app that
yeah.
that takes over the world. You know what I mean?
Mm.
If it becomes
Yeah,
that
I
easy.
mean that's why we're trying to make the in-app browser better. But for interactions between outside apps and Keychain, it's it's not that it's too complicated or that we don't want to work on it. It's just not possible. It's like the way the OS works, especially iOS. There's nothing we can do around that. So in
So it's gonna
Android
have.
actually,
Mhm.
when you use Hive, for example. Um, and if you do some transactions with the posting authority, and that's a transaction that you've whitelisted, actually it can be broadcasted without switching back to keychain because it can stay alive in the background. Although for a little while, at some point, that's not something we control. When the OS is too busy, we kill the background, and we cannot control that or avoid it. On iOS, it's worse than that. As long as the app is not in the foreground, there's nothing's running. So yeah, that's like this is not because we don't want to do it, it's because we can't. Because I totally agree. That's something that sucks, really, and I wish we could do something about it, but not really. So what we can do is try to to make the in-app browser better already. And actually, that's something I've been working a lot this past few months. Um, and yeah, trying to develop more and more capabilities for the Hive ecosystem to do more things for mobile, because I think mobile for blockchain is the way to go also. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the percentages. Somebody might want to look this up so that we can be both amazed and at the same time land with both feet on the ground. But it must be that for every computer, there's probably like 20 cell phones in the world.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
especially like a country where I live, for example. I don't know if it's the same place. It's the same situation back in Taiwan, but most people have cell phones. Almost nobody has laptops where I live, or a desktop
Mm,
for that matter. The cell phone, everybody. It doesn't matter. You could be the guy that descales fish. You have a
mm,
Android phone in your pocket. Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
So
Well,
if
here I
if we
think,
ever get that breakout app, it is going to be
yeah,
on a mobile.
yeah. I mean, worldwide, for sure, they're much more. Uh, but at least from what I can see, from the numbers I get on my dashboards and stuff, we still have much more users on desktop um, than on mobile. Although it's not really users that we can see, because we don't really take this kind of information. We can see the number of installations. So the same person can have keychain on more than one computer and also on more than one browser. So yeah, so
Yeah,
that's the numbers we
that's
get.
true.
Mm,
Yeah, because we're not collecting information. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
mm,
Now,
yeah,
So we've got a
let me
we've got a question here from Lewis. He says, do
yeah.
developer needs to think about special things when creating a front end to be rendered good inside the Keychain browser?
excellent question.
Um, Normally, if it's developed to render well on mobile, it should render well on Keychain. And if it doesn't, you can just let me know. There's probably a problem in Keychain. But we're using the last version of the most used uh, React View renderer on React Native. So usually we're up to date with the best practices, but we built a lot of things around it. So um, yeah. So if there's some issues, particularly in Keychain, yeah, you can just let us know and we look into it. But in general, if you use the best practices for mobile, it should work well in Keychain. Yeah.
This is a question that I'm sure a lot of people know, but because this is going on a recording, and I think this question is valuable. How does Keychain uh, keep your keys safe? Can you explain that? But explain it not just to Hivians. Explain it to a newbie, somebody who is like, "Well, how do I know if I put my keys in here? They tell me with this thing they can take all my money. That they cannot take all my money. That my keys are safe. How does that work?"
Yeah. So okay, the two most important things is that your keys are encrypted, and they're encrypted with the password you choose at the beginning, and they're only stored locally. So we don't send them to our backend. We don't send them anywhere for the matter. They just on your device, so nobody can access it. And even if somebody steal your computer and your computer is turned on, I mean, if they don't have your password, they still cannot access your keys because they're encrypted.
That's exactly what I've been trying to explain to people. But I think to most people, the fear comes, and maybe you know something that you can share here. The fear comes from the fact that, oh, we keep on hearing, oh no, encryption is gonna very soon is gonna die because of quantum computers. So how do I know if somebody can just grab my computer and when we have these quantum things and then they're gonna go in there and then quantum crack my password? How
Okay.
difficult? How difficult?
I would just say the day this happens, that would be the least of your worries. I mean,
Very
because like when this happens, it means the whole grid goes down. The I mean, uh, these
Internet.
are like, yeah. I mean, these are the state of the edge encryption techniques and all of that. So, uh, if if at some point this happens, I mean, everything will go down. Yeah. So it means even you will not need to you will not need to crack keychain to actually crack open your Hive account. You can just do it directly with quantum computing. So
Yeah,
to find the
it's a
key.
crazy
Yeah,
idea to think about it.
yeah.
Although I saw recently, I don't know if you saw this. Not to say that I believe everything I read on Twitter, and I don't think anybody should, but that Bitcoin was safe from quantum hacking, and I'm like, I don't know how, but one of those blue check marks was
Mm,
saying no, not even.
there are some people working on quantum resistant algorithms, but the problem with that is that it's still very hypothetical, and people like to use old algorithms because we know they work. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's a little bit the problem. Yeah, finding the right ratio about when it's really time to change and how we're sure that the new algorithm we use is resistant. But yeah, I don't think people need to think about that too much when thinking about keychain, because if it can break encryption, it can probably break blockchains directly. So at this state, at this
yeah,
point,
yeah.
anyways. So yeah, and not
One more
only
question, then I'll let Shadow take over for a little bit. But one more question I have for you: Do you
yeah.
happen to be one of those developers that is very welcoming to like new people? Meaning, here's what I'm trying to go. Somebody comes to you. Let's say that Mengao goes because he's working on some stuff himself. He's doing some great stuff. And do you have an open door policy where he can go as like, hey, dude, listen, I'm trying to integrate this stuff. I'm building this thing. Can you help me out? I'm having issues integrating Keychain into my app. This is what I want to do. It's not working. Do you have an open door policy? Do you welcome developers to come use your tools? Is that something that you wish more people would do, or it's more like, oh, I would love to, but I don't have the time?
Um, is your question about like helping them, like really helping them develop it, or just answering development questions?
A combination of both, but not necessarily that you're gonna be like, let me look at your code. But it's more like, oh no, dude, the right way to implement. Check out this.
Oh
The
yeah,
way.
no, yeah, we have a channel on our Discord just for this. If I don't answer it myself or one of my teammates, sometimes some of the other devs will come and help and say, "Oh, you can do this or that." If we're online at the time, we just answer. And yeah, I mean that's really important, right? I mean, if we build
Agreed.
keychain and there's no dApps to integrate it and to attract the users, and I mean, we're building a wallet. We're not going to get people to Hive to use keychain, right? So we need to get them to Hive to use something else, and because they will use that dApp, they will want to use keychain. So yeah, of course, we need to give all the tools to the developers and to answer their questions when they have some, and then also getting their feedback to improve to improve our tools, to improve our documentation. Um, like 1 or 2 years ago, we started a playground, so people can see directly how our SDK work and test the different type of transactions on Hive directly from our website. So I think it's really easier to get started implementing Keychain now.
100%.
But
I love that
yeah,
thing. That saved me a
yeah.
lot of time. So yeah, I don't know if everybody understands what that is. It's basically, in lamest terms, it's almost like they made a little sandbox and play with keychain without having to risk anything. You're not, just go, oh, let me see if this what this command does and what what kind of transaction it's supposed to broadcast, and oh, okay, that's what it does. So it's almost like here's some broken Legos. Go play with them. Figure out how they go together, which I find very useful. More than documentation because it can be quite boring. And then you're like, oh, I don't understand. And I have to say, I don't know if you guys agree with me. The documentation that we have on Hive is terrible. At least for me, it's been terrible. Sometimes I just
It's
keep on finding deprecated stuff. It's terrible.
yeah, yeah,
So
Nope.
that's
yeah. I
one thing
agree.
we
It's not.
should definitely
Yeah.
work.
No,
All
no.
Rule
right.
I just I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
rule of thumb
All right,
is
Shadow. Well, I'm gonna
you
let you talk for a
never
little
let
bit now.
you never let the text write the documentation, or it will be terrible.
Yeah, I agree. I used to do it for Keychain, and now I'm really happy having the playground because it's kind of I think it's best for devs and it's best for me because I really don't enjoy doing that. And anyway, it's more useful that way. So yeah.
Well, we'll all breathe
100%.
easier knowing that Menno won't be able to break the blockchain while he's playing and learning.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. I mean, it was to me it was such a clever idea. I don't know why other projects don't implement a similar approach because again, Hive documentation is absolutely terrible. I would love to have a little sandbox and be like, oh, let me try this. Oh, what does it spit out? Okay, let me try this. Oh, okay, it's perfect. I mean, I don't know if you
Mm,
got. I don't want to get
yeah,
too technical.
that would be great implementing that. Yeah, on the Hive Dev documentation. Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Yeah, that would be amazing. All right, Shadow.
Mm.
So I'll let you talk now. I talked too long, and I hope I didn't bore you guys with some technical stuff, but I think they were important questions. I really think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
thanks for your questions, man.
a question that got asked earlier: are you a speaker at
Yeah.
HiveFest?
Yep.
Good. That just arranged to the whole HiveFest right there, right? I just teasing you. So, you talked about earlier that the you know feedback from the users has been really important. Was there
Yeah.
any feedback that you got that really surprised you?
Um, okay, I'm not sure if I'm exactly answering your question. Because actually there was good feedback when I was not sure that it would be good. Is when I asked people on Hive if they were okay for us to start working on implementing multi-chain. And I know some people like hardcore just Hive, but for me, my idea was that for Hive to be successful, we need to bridge to the wider ecosystem. And I was really scared of asking the question. And then it was overwhelmingly yes. So I was really surprised at the time.
Well, it just
Um,
kind of makes sense because if Hive stays in a silo, it's never going to grow.
yeah,
So it's a
yeah.
good question.
Mm,
So I think what I was looking at there was somebody who came to you gave you feedback about how the keychain worked or didn't work, and you kind of looked and went, "I never thought that was possible." You ever get hit with anything like that?
well, yes, but usually it's not really it's more like you mean like for bugs or stuff like this?
Yeah, that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
like oh yeah. Yeah, that happens from time to time, and I'm like, hmm, that shouldn't be possible. And but the thing is, at this point, keychain is so complex. Sometimes you will have like very tiny edge cases, and it happened to me to have a bug that was only happening to one person that I know of. Uh, we had to spend a long time debugging, and in the end, it was something kind of weird where when the browser reloaded, it was like stuck between two states, and we were able to actually fix it on their device by deleting something from the local storage. But I didn't find anything in the code that would suggest that was possible. It never happened to anyone else that I know of. We're like, okay, that's weird, but yeah.
But it sounds like if it ever does, you'll know exactly what it was because you remember that bugger.
Yeah.
Challenges you've had
Yeah.
trying to develop the chain or the keychain.
Again, sorry.
challenges that you've run into that you've eventually worked out or didn't work out, or worked
Um,
came up with workarounds.
the 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 hardest part or the dealing with the different stores for publishing the apps, especially on mobile. Uh, Actually, the only one that's pretty okay is for Chromium for the extension. Like usually, it's pretty fast to publish, and they're not too annoying. Right now, there's suddenly Firefox that changed their rules, and they went even to previous versions. So now I'm waiting for them to review everything again, just for some tiny details. The worst of the worst is iOS. So like, there's just some stuff we plainly cannot do. Um, for example, we had to remove the swaps, all the games from the ecosystem page on iOS, and some NFT stuff, some others not. I don't even know how they pick and choose stuff, but it's like, it really depends on who is doing the review at the time, which is weird. Um, yeah, and also sometimes on Android, but it's a little bit more flexible. So, but yeah, the amount of time I've wasted dealing with that, yeah, you have no idea. Yeah.
It can get tedious sometimes. So PH has asked a
Oh yeah,
really important question there. We're going to deal with that right now. Is there a way to
yeah.
make keychains self-sustainable, like not depend on the DHF? And what would happen if
Yes.
the keychain proposal got defunded?
Okay.
Let's hope that doesn't
Yeah. So it's
happen,
like,
but
let's split it. Yeah.
go for it.
Um. Okay. So the first half of the question.
Is how to make it.
Yes, it's possible. Yes, it's possible, but not now. So we already have a swap system. We're a wallet, so the way to make money is to get fees on swaps. We already do that. We have a lot of users. There's no volume on Hive, so like when we have a good month, we make 1,000 USD. That's nothing for the size of our team and to keep the development going. Uh, so one of the goals of branching to EVM is getting to EVM and then other chains, so to go multi-chain, is to be able to get more users, to get more opportunities to monetize the extension and the app, and also just to bring more users to Hive, and so that even the Hive part could bring in more revenues. But I think I'm speaking for Keychain, but I think a lot of projects on Hive. I think right now we are really a small community, and it's pretty hard to get to the point where you can really 100% monetize monetize your work. So yeah, that's why I'm really happy when some other project like VSC or others are really trying to not only do some developments for Hive, because if we just look inwards all the time, we just stay a small community, and on the long run, it's not really sustainable.
So if I'm
Um,
hearing you correctly, what I'm hearing is that you've got a system in place that as volume goes up, whether it's from Hive or other chains, as volume goes up, your ask for DHF will start coming down until
yeah,
eventually it isn't
hopefully.
needed at all. Actually, I think that's good
Yeah, I
future
mean
planning.
that's the goal. Yeah, because I mean for now we're just making small revenue, and with the amount of users we have on our services, we cannot do much better than that. So yeah,
Actually, I've
that's
noticed
what.
that something that doesn't show up very often in proposals is actually seeing something in there where somebody is saying, here's the conditions that we need to have occur so that our request for DHF either drops or disappears. I think the fact that you've
Mm,
got a plan in place is really strong, makes a difference.
yeah.
And you've got a
Yeah, I
good
mean
point. The
that would be the goal, because honestly, we didn't increase the DHF for a few years, and for what for everything we have in store, I would love to have more people working with us. But yeah, I know it's always complicated to ask for more, and I understand also because it's paid by the blockchain, so that's we don't want to ask for too much either. But yeah, so that's why we need to grow revenues and also to the point where we don't need the DHF at all.
I think though that you've also
Yeah,
made a good point about the fact that the volume on Hive is low, and that
yeah,
maybe sometimes where people at least have got a plan in place, we should give a little bit of grace until that volume can be moved up.
yeah.
So Menno is asking, what is Keychain and VSC collaborating on? Are they collaborating?
Yeah, actually, we have something that's been ready for months, but they kept changing a little bit because they were still in their beta. So so then we had to change a few stuff on our side, and then we started working on some of the stuff. So we didn't release it yet. Actually, it's released on a Keychain extension beta, but not on production. But we have a full integration of VIC in the wallet. Actually, coming, I think probably coming in a few weeks now, both on extension and mobile. So you will be able to see your VSC assets, the history, deposit, withdraw, transfers, staking. You'll be able to do all of that directly from Keychain. Also, particular requests you will be able to make a keychain request directly for VSC. I mean, that will be doable directly with a custom JSON, but then you will be able to do it with a custom interface for VSC. We also work on validating the VSC transactions on their layer. Um, yeah, so and all of that is coming pretty soon.
So this question is Menno being the silly guy, so you can answer him accordingly. Are we going to get a wallet that I connect to my car and it'll tell me why there's a knock in the engine?
There's a what?
There's a knock in the engine.
There's a knock in the engine.
Yeah, you can answer him any way you want.
I don't know what to answer. I don't even get it.
He's suggesting that maybe you could come up with a wallet that will diagnose his car for him.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, put it as a feature request. We'll try to put it in next proposal
Well done.
then.
Well
Hey,
done.
listen, I do want to say this idea of or what you shared to me that people are fine with the keychain expanding to other blockchains. That's probably the best thing I've heard in months. Because one of the
Yeah.
things that keep us down, and I don't know if you guys are going to agree. Hope most people here are going to agree, is that we tend to be purity testers in this blockchain. It's like, did you say the wrong thing?
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
self up? Did you just shill XRP? For
Mm.
shame, for shame. And we kind of need to move away from that if
That's
we really want to go mainstream. So I'm
yeah.
I'm so
That's kind
happy
of
to hear that.
yeah. That's kind of why I was worried before I started toying with the idea and asking the community. At the time, we made a big survey. I think we had over 1,000 responses, and if I remember well, it was something like 86% say yes. Yeah,
Awesome, dude. I would love to get rid of my
yeah,
MetaMask.
yeah. We're working on it.
So
Well,
that's exciting.
that was kind
Yeah,
of your goal in the first place, wasn't it? To come up with a wallet that's like MetaMask, only better.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it started with MetaMask for legacy, the legacy chain, then MetaMask for Hive. But then, if we can do MetaMask for everything, that would be great. It's to be honest, it's taking more time than we thought. But also because it's like we work on this, but we're working for Hive, so our priority is still doing everything we need to work on the new features we talked about for Hive to answer user feedback, feature requests, or if people get some issues. So yeah, now we have one dev working full time on it, and it's starting to look pretty good. But there's still some work on it, some work to be done. Yeah,
It's nice to have a timeline, but at the same time, uh, when you come
yeah.
out with stuff,
I
even if it
stopped
takes you,
giving. I stopped.
hold on,
Yeah,
even if it takes you a little bit longer, um, when it comes
yeah,
out and it works, that's what matters. I know I use
yeah.
Midjourney a lot for generative art, and they'll be working on projects, and they'll say 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, and you kind of go, oh, yeah, right.
Mm.
But you also know in the
Yeah,
back of your head that when it finally releases, it will work. And I find the same
yeah,
thing with Keychain. I don't think I've ever seen Keychain
yeah,
release and not work. And if it did, you've got it
yeah. I
fixed
mean, we try
quickly.
not to. Yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah,
speaking of which, what do you see as the future with Hive Keychain? What what do you have planned to come uh, develop?
yeah. Okay, so for one, the multi-chain part will be a big part of it. Um, but for me, it really comes uh, to bridging Hive to the rest of the ecosystem, because right now we're an island, and yeah, lot of people just see it that way. It's just Hive. We here. We don't need to bother with what the others are doing or thinking or whatever. But that's our downfall, I think. So we need to work on having more cooperations and stuff like this. But for now, with only Hive, it's really hard. Like um, we used to work, for example, with Transact for they were the only ones doing on ramp for Hive. But they stopped a few months ago. They say because they have some technical issues, but I think it's just that there's no volume, so it's not interesting for them. Um, so I think by doing what we want to do and having more chains, then we can try to find some more users outside from outside. Uh, on the other hand, trying to get people on Hive to also use Keychain for EVM. Then we can also start to partner with some dApps on other chains and try to merge communities to make everybody's communities bigger. And that's the way to do, I feel, because for an example that I see on Hive or on other blockchains in general is that if people, when you talk to the people who've been here a long time, they're not the people who only use one dApp. Because if you just use one dApp and you get tired of it, or the app goes down, or whatever, you would just leave the whole ecosystem. So I feel what's really important is that people are involved in many different things, and yeah, really bridging to other chains so we can bring more people. I think for me that's really important. So we work on this with multi-chain. We also work on this with implementing more ways um, to swap tokens, because now we did the internal swap between Hive Engine and Hive, but we also want to work on implementing some other ways um, to swap Hive with, for example, Ethereum or whatever. Um, yeah.
So one of the
So
things I've
yeah,
always enjoyed about the Hive keychain is the fact that it lets me move seamlessly from dApp to dApp. So the concept of being
yeah,
able to move seamlessly from chain to chain, I think would be a real bonus.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. That's what we're going for. I think the first stage would be um, to work closely with people on Hive and to get to the point where they're really convinced that they can drop MetaMask and work with us, and after that, um, really start to work heavily on trying to get some users from outside.
you do not have to
And
convince
when
me to leave
people are using
MetaMask.
Keychain, yeah, and when people are using Keychain and they love it, then we can be like, oh, hey, by the way, have you tried this? Or and send them like if they like blogging, we can send them to try PicD or Essence and so on. Yeah. Oh yeah, which brings me to another thing we want to we start to think about. We didn't. It's not exactly for now, but so we didn't fix the details yet. But we want to add some gamification to Keychain at some point because as I mentioned earlier, I think it's important for users to really discover more than one DApp in the ecosystem, and we
Yes,
want to push ways to do that. Yeah.
very nice. If Menno has his way, apparently you're going to become an operating system, and we'll just boot into Keychain, and everything else just spares.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we definitely need to increase what we ask in the for the proposal then.
Yeah, that may very well be. Either that, or just bring Menno on onto the team and let him work for free. It's his
Ah,
idea, and
okay.
he
Yeah,
can
that could
develop
work.
it.
That could work.
With that,
Mm.
Menno, you're back on deck.
All right. Well, I want to say, well, first of all, we're reaching the end of the hour. So
Yeah.
coming, thank you for having this chat with us. I suspected there were some things in the pipeline. This is exciting to MetaMask thing. Getting rid of MetaMask to me sounds beautiful. I love it. I hadn't used it in months because I hate using it. I hate having 4 or 5 wallets in my browser. I don't know if other people share this hate for multi-wallet experience as much as I do, but I hate it. So if I could just have this one thing and work with everything, that's beautiful to me. But
Mm.
the fact that you're working with VSC also tells me that this idea that you were discussing about making those bridges is not just a possibility. It's exactly what's going to happen because that's basically what VSC wants to do. So now I see the
Yeah.
path. This is where we're going, and this is absolutely great. I mean, I can imagine now me being change within my keychain, and tell me if I'm wrong. Changing USDT to HBD straight from my keychain. That
Hmm.
sounds beautiful, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is where we're going. That's amazing. I do want to tell you something really quick, or maybe get your opinion on this, because we've had other crypto communities, and again, we're tribal people. We're tribal outside of the in the flesh and blood world. We're even more tribal in we had other communities come and join us and we make a big splash about it. The last time it happened was with the Digibyte people. We're like, oh, welcome,
Hmm.
yeah, let's do this. And now they went silent. And I have to say, from your point of view, if we get them to come in and participate also of Hive, what needs to happen for them to stick around? Because they seem to just, fume away and like just go, just go.
Yeah. Well, I think I would just kind of repeat myself, but I think if we want people to stick uh, and stay here, we need to get them involved in more than one thing, and really find what they like, and give them the ways to really discover the ecosystem and what and find the right fit for them. I mean, we have a lot of stuff on Hive, so when they arrived, I guess mostly they saw the blogging, so probably PicD, Sensi, and so on. But if they didn't really get to discover the rest of the ecosystem, I can see it not working on the long run like it did. Yeah.
Are
I
you
don't
any
know. I
chance
mean,
familiar?
that's just my opinion. But like, to be honest, I'm not really involved in blogging and all day to day. Um, but I think at this point we have an ecosystem that's much more than that. And I think
100%.
when we introduce Hive, we need to introduce it as a whole ecosystem and not just a way to blog and get money out of it. Yeah.
100%. I was going to ask you, are you familiar with One Bitcoin Club? Do you know what that is?
No.
It's it's something that I think it was Sagar who did it, but don't call me on this one. I know it was Stalkers, the ones that started it, and even though it's still around, it's not being pushed. It was more like a proof of concept, but I loved it. And
Okay.
let me try to explain it in the simplest way, because I really honestly think this is the way we get other communities to join our ecosystem, become part of the tribe. One Bitcoin club is a fork, I believe, from SNC, where when you write on there, you make a post on there, you get Hive, and you also get Satoshis. You get Bitcoin sent to your Bitcoin Lightning wallet. If you
Okay.
get Q, and it's a loop, because the way that it works is that the things that you post on there are taxed. I think it's like 30% go to an account, and the money that it makes, it uses to buy um, a little bit of sats from the Lightning Network, and then it sends that
And then
and
send them
goes to
back.
the curator.
Okay.
And so
Yeah.
it's a beautiful little loop that would incentivize a community, in this case would be Bitcoiners, right, to be
Mm-hmm.
attached to Hive in a way. And you got your own community, your own front end, you're part of Hive, you're still getting your own tokens, you guys can share. I find that to be amazing. And I believe that if, in my opinion, that if we wanted to bring other crypto people, that's the way to do it. Because again, it's almost like, I don't know what you would call it, like a mole, like, okay, you sneak in, but through under the table. Because this is built on Hive, but I'm getting my coin, the one I like. I'm XRP Army. Oh, but I'm getting Hive
Yeah.
too. Okay, let's check out what else they got.
Mm. Yeah. I think that's a good example of something that can be done, like not only for blogging, but in general, but that is maybe not always putting the Hive, or even sometimes not even putting the blockchain component that much in your face as we do it, if you know what I mean. Like, I think there's probably some applications that can try to minimize a little bit how difficult it is for normies, and also, as you said, for people interested that could come for other blockchains, that could be a good way to merge Hive and the other blockchains, and appeal to them.
I think
Yeah.
Starkers was using the blogging aspect of it just to show that that bridge could be created between the two chains.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
Oh,
tied
that's cool.
completely to the blogging.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a proof of concept, really. But
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I love the idea. I honestly think it can be done with. Obviously, we might not be able to do it with every single cryptocurrency, but uh, and the ones that are conducive to small microtransactions. Because also, you don't want to be giving people, oh, here's 5 dash for this post. Ones that are conducive to microtransactions are pretty much compatible with the idea. And
Yeah.
I think, and now I'm imagining like Keychain could one day integrate also, in the Lightning Network, right? Why not?
Yeah. Actually, we're thinking to see with Brian, um, if there's something we can do to make V4V easier to use on mobile, maybe a widget or something. Yeah, that's something in our pipeline for this year. I need to talk to him. Probably discuss this during the high fest with him. I guess he would go. Yeah, not
sounds
sure.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, dude.
sounds like
Yeah,
If your
great
Keychain,
possibilities. So
yeah,
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 we need to kind of wind down here. So
you're right. You're right.
Stoodkev,
yep.
final thoughts that you would have liked to have been asked about but we didn't ask you.
Ooh. That was a lot of questions already.
There
Huh?
was.
uh, Nothing comes to mind right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Fun.
really wanted to talk about the plans for the future, so I think we got that covered. Yeah,
Good. Then we
yeah,
hit the right questions to help you as well.
yeah.
So want to give you my
Okay,
thanks for you being
I
here
don't have
today.
a pet fish. Okay, no, I was answering Menno. I don't have a pet fish, but I have a bearded dragon.
There you go. So thank you for the great interview. I was looking forward to this one. And Menno, you got
Yeah,
any final words?
Yeah. Well, again, I wanted to thank you for coming. I think I
thanks for having
every
me,
time I
guys.
do these, yeah, every time I do these talks, and when we bring devs, and I can hear the excitement and all the ideas I can't help but to feel bullish about what we're doing here, what we are building, and that's regardless of the price. I right now I think Hive is a great opportunity, so much potential, and
Yeah.
to see everything that is that is happening, everything that's in the pipeline, kind of proves to me that I'm in the right place, and that 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 I'm going to be thankful to in the future. I'm going to be thankful to 2025 Menno for sticking around and doing what I'm doing too.
All right.
Cool.
So thank
Yeah,
you
that's why I love to go to the High Fest as well. Just like
to
it
get pumped.
renews the optimism for the year to come every time to see everything that's cooking from all the different projects and see everyone. Yeah.
All
That's right. That's
right.
right.
So that wraps up this week of the Hive Thrive Hour. And next week, we're going to have the Hive Skate guys are going to be joining us. So we're going to go from developers to, I'm not sure what they're doing, but we're going to find out. Until next week, thank you everyone for coming and have a great week.